Joining me now for a reaction to all of this, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, along with Republican Congressman Devin Nunes and Andy Biggs. Congressman Nunes, Congressman Biggs, Greg, thanks for joining us. Congressman Nunes, I'll go to you first. You know, listen, this comment by Bill Barr I found a little disturbing. I don't know what Barr knows, obviously full obvious disclosure right there, or John Durham, the special investigator. But to suggest that the CIA stayed in its lane in the Spygate scandal, the evidence isn't really, some of the public evidence out there just doesn't support that. I mean, we had John Brennan say on numerous media outlets that he had not seen this dossier full of all these ridiculous allegations until December. Yet in August of 2016, obviously before December, he briefs Harry Reid in the Senate, I know something you're familiar with, about elements of, in fact, the dossier. So those stories can't be true at the same time and do suggest some improper conduct. Am I missing something about this? No one knows more about it than you.
Well, what I'd like to say about this is that the FBI is clearly the ones that did the most wrong here. At some point, the CIA did get involved, but we just don't know who. We did made a criminal referral to the Justice Department on this, on manipulating intelligence for political purposes. Now, perhaps this is not a crime. Perhaps it needs to be a crime into the future, but I think we need to let Durham do his work. Hopefully, the Biden administration won't try to can Durham. I think it's critical we get to the bottom of this because we spent 4 years listening to this Russia hoax nonsense when the whole time it was the Bidens that had the problem getting $3.5 million from Moscow. Most Americans just don't know this yet, and we're going to have to do what we can to get it out to the American people.
Greg, is it possible here that there's going to be some procedural out for elements of the CIA, notably Brennan at the top, where they say something to the effect of, hey, I was just doing my job. I got this foreign dirt and I passed it off to the FBI. And that gives them a legal procedural out. And if you can answer part two to that, is it possible also that the FBI will see more arrests? We haven't seen anything done on the Flynn leak, the leak of the Flynn audio, which is a known felony. So if you could hit those, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's not an out for the CIA to say, gee, I'm just doing my job, as Devin Nunes pointed out correctly. It was John Brennan who was the instigator of the Russia hoax. He was spreading the collusion lie through Harry Reid to the media. He was helping to spread the fabricated dossier. He was knee-deep in framing Donald Trump for something he didn't do. He perpetuated and instigated the Russia hoax. And then when it all came crashing down, when the Mueller report came out, he said, oh, gee, I guess my information was wrong. He's either the most ignorant or most malevolent CIA director ever. And I must say, it's laughable for Maxine Waters to say, as she did, that it's now up to Joe Biden to stand up to Russia and China. Joe Biden is the most compromised president in my lifetime ever to take office by virtue of his grifter son, who was influence peddling and selling access to his father. Lord knows how much information that the Chinese and the Russians have and can hold over the head of Joe Biden, exerting undue influence. It's called good old-fashioned blackmail.
Congressman Biggs, on this Hunter Biden, Joe Biden story, what I find most disturbing about this is the media angle. We have information in front of us right now with one of the business partners to this deal interviewed on this network, Tony Bobulinski. One of the business partners. Nobody disputes he was a business partner. Nobody disputes the authenticity of the emails and texts he has, suggesting that there was a kickback to Joe Biden when he was the vice president of the United States, and afterwards when he left office, to the Chinese communists. There's a media story here, too. I mean, this is like Pravda, like media malfeasance.
Yeah, but we can't be surprised by that, Dan. They went after Trump mercilessly without any evidence. And now that they have evidence, everything from a laptop with a hard drive to Tony Bobulinski's testimony to seeing Hunter Biden pop off the plane in China. And then the next thing you know, $1 billion deal comes back his way. I mean, these things are overt. They're right out in front of them. It's as plain as the Swalwell issue. They're suppressing things from the American people because it suits them as the propaganda arm of the leftist Democrat Party. And that's really why I'm not surprised, but we have got to elevate that. And you've done a good job, and Greg and Devin, but we've got to keep fighting this battle because there is compromise there for the big guy, Joe Biden himself.
Congressman Nunes, I'll wrap with you here. You know, some of the same players involved in the Ukraine impeachment hoax and the Spygate hoax, they were some of the same names. If you do any homework on it, you see, I always say, remember the names as an investigative tool. They were the same names. I mean, was this just a 4-year effort to get rid of Donald Trump that moved seamlessly from the spying on him Operation Spygate into the impeachment hoax afterwards?
Well, Dan, I would also point out, you're exactly right, follow the names, but also follow the names of the first reporters who were talking to Clinton campaign people back in 2016. A lot of these P-tape truthers, as I call them, that went out there peddling this dossier, they're now going to be in a new potential Biden administration. If you can believe that, a lot of the people that were peddling this have now already been named to the Biden transition team and going to serve in his new administration. You just can't make this up.
Yeah, it's sad. We've entered like a Soviet Union style Pravda media. It's really grotesque. Guys, I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.